Kia ora and welcome to South Today News. WorkSafe New Zealand inspectors have begun a new round of visits to forestry contractors this week, focusing on the second of the two most dangerous jobs in the industry, tree felling. General Manager Health and Safety Operations, Ona De Roy, says too many workers in our forests are being killed and injured as they cut the trees, and we have been working closely with the industry and worker representatives to develop best practice guidelines for safe manual tree felling. WorkSafe New Zealand has completed its assessment round focusing on the other dangerous activity, hauling the cut logs to transport sites in the forest, and has discovered alarming levels of safety breaches. WorkSafe visited over 200 cable hauling operations and issued over 270 enforcement notices, including 23 prohibition notices which shut the operation down in the face of imminent danger to workers. It's been a week of note for Southland District Mayor Gary Tong, with $1.5 million additional funding confirmed for Southern Cycle Trails, $500,000 coming from central government and another $1 million from the Lottery Commission. Also this week, $30,000 was earmarked for a survey to be conducted to ascertain Southland's contribution to the national tax take, a survey Mr Tong had requested.
It's going to be of benefit for Southland to find out where our GST, our taxes, our road end user charges and that all go to, how much we actually spend out of the province.
And what will be done with that information? Will you use that information to lobby government for perhaps more funds?
Absolutely. I think it's important that government realise that this is an area that produces a lot for the economy of New Zealand, and to get it back we have to prove that we're given a fair bit back into the country, and we need to start feeding it back. We can't keep producing and not having the funds to keep our roading networks up to scratch, for an example. So we need to prove that it's more than them just making their mind up on deprivation figures and the like.
There is the possibility, though, that we're perhaps getting more than we're entitled to.
It could be. We could prove it well out of the boundaries of how they think, but we've also got to understand that the pie is only so big and it's never going to get any bigger, so we have to get the piece of the pie that is relevant to our patch, that's for sure.
And you certainly campaigned on finding out exactly what we were entitled to.
That was my campaign, to get the right mix and bring it back to Southland.
Now, a quick word about Around the Mountain. It's great, that $1 million on top of the $500,000, and to have that million from Lotteries Commission. Absolutely stoked on that, Hunter. Yeah, the 500 is certainly going to increase the prospects in the Athol area, and obviously the $1 million for stage 2 is only the start. And I'm sure that people are going to see that it's positive. We're going to progress forward and get this cycle trail the #1 in the country. Can be huge benefits to the local economy, can't it? It's been proved elsewhere, why not down here? Oh, it definitely can be. Yeah, the figure I heard the other day that cycling in New Zealand is up 54%. So let's bring it on for Southland. Are you a cyclist yourself? Apparently I'm going to have to be. Santa bought me a bike about 5 years ago without me asking. So yeah, I'll get the bike back out, but I don't think I'll be wearing the fancy clothes that so I see some of them wearing. We'll see you on the track. You will see me on the track, most definitely. New dairy farmers are now required to do an on-farm risk assessment before any conversion begins, although the changes won't affect incumbent dairy operations within the region. Plan Change 13 is designed to improve the region's water quality, and the introduction of the Conversion Environment Plan is to help ensure land is being used for the right type of farming activity.
It actually probably helps choices on the sort of farm you're going to convert. It also probably helps unnecessary costs later on, because you may decide to put your lanes in different positions if you take those things into consideration right from the start. And while it's now a consented activity, dairy farmers already had to get a consent for water and for effluent disposal. So it's not a big change, but it makes it more a package, and it does give the council the opportunity to turn down a consent if they are not sure that the water quality things can be met. And I think that in itself means people are going to take a lot more care and concern before they make the decision, so that they actually tick the boxes.
Why is it being seen as contentious in some circles?
I think when it first came out, we were probably the first cab out off the rank to do something like this, and there were strong concerns voiced by the farming community, and I think some thought it would be used to stop dairy farming in its tracks. We're really our concerns are water quality, and that's what we're focused on. The community have given us a strong steer. Our own state of the environment monitoring was showing that in some areas our water quality was declining, and this is really an effort, I guess, to hold the line while we work on the areas that are affecting water quality, and that's not just dairying, that's all farming, but it's also the towns and the cities.
And stay right where you are. After the break, a chance to tour HMNZS Wellington, and we have the week that was. And welcome back. The Student Loan Scheme Amendment Bill number 3, introduced in August 2013, passed its final stages in Parliament yesterday with 61 to 59 votes. The new legislation includes tougher measures to deal with student loan borrowers who refuse to make repayments, and introduces higher repayment obligations for overseas-based borrowers to assist them to pay off their loans sooner. The new rules will give Inland Revenue the ability to seek an arrest warrant to deal with the most serious cases when all other efforts to persuade the borrowers to make repayments have failed. Overseas-based borrowers are responsible for 80% of all overdue loan repayments. The new rules will apply from the 1st of April. Underrepresentation of women in trades could be about to change, with almost 200 Southland High School students being given a taste of the trades industry.
195 Year 11 students have spent the last 2 days at the Southern Institute of Technology's Invercargill Tay Street campus being exposed to what might be considered male-dominated roles. Students could choose from automotive, carpentry, engineering, electrical, airbrush or painting and decorating at the Institute's new $5.5 million trades facilities. Program Manager for Trades, Russell Finley, says some of the best tradespeople are women, and they often bring skills that allow them to move on to management roles within the industry.
Meeting accommodation demands for international students attending the Southern Institute of Technology has prompted property investment, with the purchasing of existing hotels and land for the building of more accommodation blocks in the city. Around $10 million has been spent in Invercargill, as well as the build of 9 new units to house 54 students in Queenstown. The final third stage of current developments is underway, with an existing accommodation block being replicated on an adjacent property.
That will take us up to 210 in Invercargill, yeah. So, it just depends if we keep the leased properties or not. Yeah, possibly 240 then.
So what's the decision around keeping the leased properties?
Just depends on the numbers coming in. If the numbers keep growing, we sort of don't want to keep building more and more properties. So we might be looking at then maybe reducing the length of stay that students can stay here, especially our postgraduate students. We do shift people around and try and suit their culture and their religious needs. And also they make friends and they then come and say, we'd like to share with this person, and we can move people around to suit that.
Can you give us some examples around the religious scenarios that you're dealing with?
I have a couple here, and they pray 5 times a day, and quite early in the morning, so they don't want to be a unit where they're disturbing other students, and so we try and put them in a studio unit. We have a few of those available. We have a lady coming who wears a burqa and can't be with single gentlemen, so yeah, we have to just look after those people as much as we can. Queenstown is a bit more compact. It hasn't got any area for sort of like kids to run around and play, but it is a bit more upper class. We have 9 3-bedroom units up there, a bit more spacious. Each bedroom has its own ensuite, and then the kitchen facilities are a bit higher spec as well. They've got 4 oven and dishwasher.
Quite a step up, the accommodation here compared to the Grand Hotel?
Yes, it was getting a wee bit old, and the lease was running out, so that was decided not to continue that lease and put the money into the accommodation here.
Potentially, how much accommodation could we see going up in the city to house international students and domestic?
No more from SIT. I think that's the final what we're going to be doing here once stage 3 is finished. But as the students move out of their accommodation here and go into the private accommodation, I think there's a few people there are looking at cashing in on that marking and making available houses and converting places that can be for student accommodation.
Southlanders have a great opportunity to look at the inner workings of the NZS Wellington when the Navy hold an open day on board in Bluff tomorrow. The ship, one of the Navy's 2 offshore patrol vessels, will be docked at the main Bluff Wharf and will be open to the public for 4 hours from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. Visitors to the ship will be able to see the flight deck, the bridge, the rigid inflatable boats, amongst many other aspects of the vessel, including fire control. The Wellington has just returned from the sub-Antarctic islands, where it was tested by the notoriously rough Southern Ocean conditions, which forced the vessel to alter course and seek shelter off Stewart Island. NZS Wellington will also have a barbecue on board, selling sausages and soft drinks to raise money for the ship's charity. That's all from the news team for this week. Next in Sport, Super 15 action thanks to the New Zealand Herald. We'll leave you now with the week that was. Make sure you have a great weekend.